everyone, welcome to Kim's Kitchen. I am Kim. Today we are going to be making one of our family's favorites, Greek sliders. Super easy, comes together really quickly for the end of the day when you're in a big rush to get dinner together in about 25-30 minutes. Let's get started. Just a few simple ingredients you'll need is ground chicken. You can also use ground turkey for this if you prefer. It doesn't really matter. So just one package of that. I think this is 1 pound. 1 pound. Okay. About a cup of feta cheese. Any kind of feta cheese that you like. They do make seasoned feta cheese, so if you like the tomato and basil or the Mediterranean seasoned feta cheese, you can use that as well. You need about a cup of that. I have this Greek seasoning that I had bought, I believe, at World Market. You can find them online, and at some grocery stores should carry it. But this is Greek seasoning with feta, and we'll use probably a good hefty tablespoon or more of that. So all we're going to do, I don't really measure any of my ingredients, to be honest with you. I just do everything by feel, and if you like more of a certain seasoning, you can always add more of it. If you like garlic, add some garlic to it. If you like the flavor of onion, add onion powder. You can season these up really any way that you want to. So what we're going to do is put all the ingredients together in the bowl, mix them up together by hand, and then we'll form our patties. So as you can see, I put the ground chicken and the feta cheese into the bowl. So now I'm going to add my Greek seasoning. I'm going to try to do an estimate of how much I would use in this to try and give you an indication. That's probably like a teaspoon or so. My bottle is empty. So honestly, I wish I had more, to be honest with you. So I think I would end up probably putting in like 2 tablespoons worth of seasoning. I like mine seasoned quite well. So if you like a little bit less, add a little less. If you love a lot of seasoning, add a little bit more. You can't really mess this up too much. So add whatever you like. So now we're just going to go in with our hands, because they are your best tool in the kitchen, your hands. Mix this all together and make sure that all the feta cheese and the spices are incorporated nicely. So as you can see, I've mixed in the ground chicken with the feta cheese and the spices, and now we're just going to make our sliders. So, and if you have big giant pieces of feta, like really big ones like that, I don't know if you can see it, you might want to just break those up. That way it gets a little bit better incorporated into the burgers if you don't have big giant pieces like this one right here. Look at that monstrosity. Like that's, no. Not that I don't love feta, but I like a little bit of, you know, it. I like a little bit of it. On the floor. That just shot onto the floor in case you didn't notice that. Oh my goodness. So anyway, yes. If you have big giant pieces of feta, break them up. It helps them incorporate better into the mixture. Okay. So now, what we're going to do is just, the size of these is up to you. We're having sliders tonight rather than full-size burgers, so they're going to be a little bit on the smaller side. So what I like to do is kind of just eyeball it. This is probably golf ball size, maybe. And then I just roll it into a ball, and then I smoosh it in my hands to make it like a burger shape. Then you can kind of figure it out. Now, if you want it to, you have your slider buns sitting here, which I do. So it's regular slider buns. You can kind of judge, like hold it over top of the buns just to make sure that you have the right size and they're not too big, or you also don't want like a piece of meat this big and then it's like an inch of bread around the SI. That's ratchet. So, and then I have a baking sheet here, just a regular old baking sheet, and I covered up mine with parchment paper. That way I know for sure that it's not going to stick. If you wanted to use foil, you could use that. You just might want to give it a light spray with some Pam or whatever kind of cooking spray that you have. So there you go. The first patty is done. So I'm just going to make more patties until all the meat is gone. Mention, you want to preheat your oven to 350 degrees. So I'm just making up my last one. So for reference, one 16-ounce or 1 pound package of the ground chicken plus the cup of feta made 9 sliders, which if you have a big family or you have big eaters. So for us, I'm feeding 3, myself and 2 teenagers tonight, which means that we're each going to get 3, or more likely, I'll have 2 and then the kids can split the rest of them. So this made 9. This made 9 sliders, as you can see. So you just spread them out on your baking sheet. They're not really going to grow as they're cooking, so it's not like chocolate chip cookies where you have to have them like spaced so far apart or whatever. So I just place them on the baking sheet lined with parchment paper, and I'm going to put them in a 350-degree oven until they're done. It usually takes, for slider-sized patties like this, it'll probably take about 15-20 minutes. Just check them. Depends on how thick you make your patties. If you like them fatter, it might take a little bit longer. If you're making burger-sized patties, again, it just depends on your oven and how big you make your patties. So I'm probably going to set my timer for 15 minutes. Check and see if they are done. If not, I'll just keep them in for a few more minutes and then check again. So into the oven we go. So the sliders have been in the oven for, okay, so they were in for 15 minutes. They weren't done. So I just added 5 minutes to the timer. So they have about 30 seconds left. You'll probably hear the timer go off, and then I'll recheck them, make sure they're done. And if they're not, just cook them for a little bit longer until they're done. So I like to serve mine. Here's my slider buns. These are the sweet Hawaiian slider buns. Whatever kind you like, you can't go wrong. It's like hamburgers. I mean, really, you can, whatever kind of bread you prefer to eat them on. And I like to serve mine. So they already have feta cheese mixed into the burger. So I don't put more cheese on top. You can if you want, why not, right? But I like to serve mine with a smear of hummus on the bun. So I usually just put a little bit of hummus, or a lot of hummus if you like it. I smear it right onto the top there, on each bun. That was the timer that just went off. I'll check it in a second. So a little bit of hummus here. I love hummus, and you can use your hummus of your choice. Roasted red pepper, garlic hummus, whatever kind you prefer. So I put a little hummus, and then my family, we love guacamole and avocados in general, and I could eat guacamole on pretty much anything. And so I just mashed up, this is just 1 avocado mixed with a little bit of guacamole seasoning that you can buy at the grocery store, the little packets. I only add about a teaspoon of those packets, and I find that one of those guacamole seasoning packets probably lasts me making guacamole like 6 times or something, so you really get your money's worth out of it. You don't need a lot. It goes really far. So I'm also going to put a little bit of guacamole on it, and we're going to be serving ours tonight with some corn on the cob that I have cooking on the stove right now, and some couscous. You can serve it with rice, a nice salad. I wanted to serve ours with a salad, but my lettuce was bad, so we had to improvise, so I made couscous instead. So let's check our burgers and see if they're done. They should be done. Let me just double check and make sure. I'm just going to cut one in half to make sure that they're done. Would you say cut one in half to make sure they're done? So I just pulled these out of the oven. This is what they look like when you pull them out. One thing that you can do, this is ground chicken, and so unlike beef, where you don't really want to cut it to see if it's done, you can do that with chicken and with ground turkey, because all the juices doesn't have the same moisture content that beef has, the same fat content. So, and unlike beef that you can eat on the more rare side, you really want to make sure your chicken or your turkey are cooked all the way through. Salmonella with dinner, not so good. So I am just going to take a knife and just pick one, probably the fattest one, because if the fattest one's done, the rest of them will be done. So I'm just gonna take a peek. I'm just gonna cut it in half, and then I'll give myself this burger. And I'm just gonna take a peek on the inside, and it's cooked all the way through. And so now I know that the rest of them are done. If the fattest one's done, they're all done. So
how do you know it's all the way done? Sorry.
So the way that you know ground chicken or ground turkey is all the way done is if it's not pink in the middle. And so you can see, and you can also just take your finger and just feel it, and if it's really hot on the inside, it looks cooked. So then I'm just gonna pretend like I didn't cut that in half, like kind of put it back together, and nobody will even know once it's on the burger. So I have my buns with the hummus on top, and I'm just gonna take my cut in half burger and give it to myself. Just pop it right on there. And kind of drain it. If it has like some juice on it, just kind of drain it off onto the parchment paper. Okay. And just slide it right onto your slider bun. Okay, and then we're going to come over here. Now, okay, so these are sliders. And like burgers in general, there's numerous ways that you can cook them. There's numerous ways to skin a cat. Oh. So you can either cook them in the oven, which is what I chose to do tonight, just because it was easiest. We were out all afternoon, and I didn't feel like pulling out my grill pan, which if you have a grill pan, feel free to put it on that. Or if you have an outdoor grill, go ahead and stick them on. But just for easiness sake for tonight, I just threw them in the oven. About 20 minutes and they were all done. I didn't have to fire up a grill. I didn't have to dirty up my grill pan. So there's multiple ways that you can cook these. Whatever your favorite method is or whatever you think is the easiest, go for it. This is the couscous that we're serving as a side dish. This is my favorite. It's just the Near East couscous with roasted garlic and olive oil.
Then hashtag not sponsored.
Hashtag not sponsored. So we're gonna serve this with couscous. This is so easy to make, guys. It takes 5 minutes. It's one of my easiest, quickest sides, so I love serving couscous. You can also cook up some rice if you would like to as well. And then, there you have it. A delicious, quick summer meal for your family that you can get on the table. From start to finish, you could probably do this in about 30 minutes. Depending on how quick you make your patties, maybe 45 if you're not that fast. But as you can see, it's a nice meal, and it comes together fairly quickly and inexpensive as well. So enjoy and let me know what you guys think. Have a good day. Bye.